Can I just quickly, I wanted to come on and say something really quickly because I've seen quite a few comments. Apparently she is currently live and she's having an episode, and there are people in this comment section saying, oh, someone needs to phone an ambulance. Nobody who isn't involved, like, if you are not like Kirsten's mods, parents, family, etc., do not call an ambulance. It's these people.
No, I'm gonna say something there, because if you are witnessing somebody in a medical episode, whether it looks real or not, you have a duty to get them help if you can.
The thing is she's on a live stream and she'll have her moderators on there. Because at this point in time, if you phone in to an ambulance service and you have no idea other than a rough location and a name, sometimes they cannot find a person on a system, and therefore they then end up with lots of calls that they actually can't assist.
They're very well aware of her.
Oh, I know. I'm
yeah, her address and everything is practically public knowledge by a good section of people.
But we're not saying that, because I don't know it.
I don't know it either, and I wouldn't even give it
out.
No, because that's just not anybody's.
And this is the problem. If she's in a medical
she,
episode,
however, has
why is the dad
provided
not calling an ambulance?
her address to people.
I will say, so my sister's in the comments, she's retired Ambo because of COVID, and she has said given her name is enough for them to act on. However, what we have said is if they're in their comments saying someone should call an ambulance, we all don't need to be doing it. We don't need to be putting mass calls into the emergency services. That my sister used to work hideous shifts with the call board, not getting it clear. So as long as we know that, you know, if someone in there saying call an ambulance and someone's done it, then there's no need for mass ambulance calling, please. You know, because that
is what I am meaning. Like, there's people in her live who know exactly what's going on. They know when supposedly she will need an ambulance versus when she just needs someone to go over, her dad to go over, all of that kind of stuff. It's not beneficial for anyone to be mass phoning.
I don't mean people that are in this comment. I mean people that are actually watching her live. Moderators or a dad are not calling and they are watching, they have a duty to call for help. Whether it be ambulance, police, fire brigade, they have a duty. It is a law.
I think some people just worry, you know, when people come into a live for the first time, they see something like that. They're going to worry, aren't they?
Jem, I just say, but if one's called every time, she might stop shock and faking. Nah, she's a frequent flyer and her dad cancels them, so don't worry.
But the thing is, even if she doesn't actually need medical assistance, if she is there on her own having a seizure, somebody needs to make sure that having a legitimate seizure, somebody needs to make sure that she is not going to further injure herself, even if she doesn't need any medication, if she doesn't need taken into hospital, anything like that. Somebody needs to make sure that she's not going to further injure herself by having these seizures. So somebody should be calling somebody if they are.
And I would like to remind everybody that when you call any kind of medical services or police or emergency services, they assess the situation, and if they believe it's not needed, they will tell you.
Yeah. And if you use the term as well, concern for welfare, but we don't need to be doing that in this live. We're not watching her. Everyone has a duty to safeguard everybody, to be fair. And if she is, like we've said before, if she is fitting for more than 5 minutes or going in and out of seizures, the NHS guidelines says to call an ambulance. So the people in that live, that's up to them. We're not. All we're doing here is putting facts together of what she said and what actually happened.
Oh yeah, none of us are seeing it, so none of us has a duty to do anything.
No, we're not looking at it.
I think Lizzie was just saying, because there was a few people in the comments discussing whether to call, etc. So I think that was just her point.
I'm really sorry, Lizzie. I didn't realise.
Yeah, I think there was people in the comments wondering, should we call? And I don't know if they'd come in here from the other live, or I don't know.
Yeah, we don't need to, do we?
Sorry, Lizzie.
Yeah, that was literally why that's why I asked to come on. It's not her live specifically. I'm saying right now there's people in this comment section a few moments ago that were saying we should phone an ambulance in this live because
really,
they've
really
seen
sorry,
someone
Lizzie.
else.
I didn't realise. I'm really sorry.
It's fine, don't worry.
Also, for the people in this comment section saying about phoning an ambulance, at the moment, as you haven't seen it firsthand, that would class as hearsay. So you can't really phone an ambulance on hearsay unless you've witnessed it.
The first thing that they will ask you, are you going to? And yeah, and some of us have seen what happens when someone has phoned an ambulance. She or her family have been known to cancel them, and there's some other situations that have gone on in the background with them. So genuinely leave it up to her moderators in her lives, because they will phone her dad, and then her dad will make the call whether to phone an ambulance. Pretty much
Tracy, I just want to address Tracy Francis.
Please do.
I'm sorry, but I deal with a child that does have seizures, and I know the damage what seizures can do. And at the end of the day, what kind of person wouldn't get somebody help if they appear they need help? I don't care if you think I'm overreacting or wasting people's time. As a mother, I'd want somebody to do that for my child.
I'm not being funny, but I've seen her dad arrive and panic. Like, only maybe... Sorry, what?
No, I've just asked my sister to answer that comment, please, for Tracy. Could you answer that comment, please, Claire?
Like, twice ever of the millions of times I've called her dad, I've seen him arrive, and he walks in all casual, and then he gets to her and panics. And I don't know why, because he always picks the phone away so you can't see what's going on. But I think just occasionally, I don't know if she takes too much or takes the wrong combination, but I've definitely twice seen him arrive and then suddenly start freaking out. Like, not freaking out, but panicking clearly.
Some reason it's only just
mods have seen that.
It's only just clicked to me, but the lady just talking there, she was a journal.
It's me.
It's Sophie. Me and Sophie were mods at the same time. She's also obviously blocked after me. But yeah, we mods at the exact same time. So anything that, I experienced, she did at the same time as well. I just thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
Could I just ask a quick question and then I'll drop down if anybody is able? So a couple of days ago, this girl's face popped up on my For You page. I have never, ever seen her before, ever. And from a couple of nights ago, she's always on my For You page. And then your live has been popping up throughout the day. Is she like a liar about being ill? Is she I'm really confused. Is anyone able to summarise for me?
Okay, so
and thank you.
No worries. We believe this. We know this lady to have mental health problems. We believe this lady needs help. Johnny B. Good's in here. And I only got involved because my friend Gio got sucked in by this lady and was taken for a lot of money.
God.
Yeah. So, Johnny's in here. Hi, Johnny. If you want to have a box, I can let you have a box. Yeah. So that's why we got involved. So, all we're doing is putting up facts and then debunking the facts. This is not a hate live. It's a very factual live.
So I think the clip that I saw, she said something, someone correct me if I'm wrong, she said, I'm on end of life support, and then she quite smugly said, if anyone doesn't know what that means, I'm going to die. I've had people who have, died who knew they were going to, and they're not that smug when they say it. And then her dad was in the background. I think it might have been her dad. I don't know who it was.
It will be a father, yes.
And then it was a smug, kind of like a sarky little laugh. Are the whole family a bit, are they playing along with this fantasy, it seems?
Her father's in the comments, if you'd like to ask him. He's in the comments.
Are you...
No, her father's in the comments. Absolutely, her father's in the comments.
When I was a moderator, we weren't allowed to tell her dad that she was end of life. She specifically said no moderators were to tell her parents she was end of life.
as John will be aware, obviously Gio's was reported as a crime, and as a victim of crime. Gio, do you want to speak or do you want me to speak? Type in the comments.
Let me step down, Sally, so that somebody else can go in, hon.
Fraud,
There's
no.
a free box, Heather.
Okay, Gio wants me to speak. As a victim of crime, Gio has been told by the sergeant of the police station the situation, and she was told this, and John, hi, I'm glad you've come in, was that Dad was to get her to stop what she's doing and get help. Obviously, this hasn't happened, so all I am doing now, and you know who I'm speaking about, John. I mean, if you want to private message me, I will tell you the name of the person. So now.
So are the tubes in her nose actually real? What is real and what is a fantasy?
It's really hard to say. All we've done in this live is debunk, because we do know that she gets tubes not prescribed. We do know that her tubes differ. We know that her feeds differ.
Gosh.
Obviously, as people who have disabilities in this life, people that are tube fed have come in and say, we have one brand that we're given from our CCG. It shouldn't vary. We have one size. It shouldn't vary, yet it does. So again, all we're doing is we were told by the sergeant of his local police station to use social media to warn other people. So that's what we're doing. So we're telling people, is everything as you see? Is everything as it seems? Why would this be happening? So I'm going to show you something, and I'm going to show it now. Actually, I wasn't going to because we were doing some videos. Skiggle, where you can get information from. There is no personal information. I'm not doxing information.
Can you make it a bit bigger? Because is blind.
I have been given permission. Hang on, there's only this bit on here. I've been given permission to share this by this person. She posted something on there. It says, Skiggle member is interested in your marketplace item. Skiggle member is interested in your marketplace item. 1 packet NG tube is 8 FR. However, it feels a bit more a 6 FR, so it blocks easily. 80 centimeters long is an NFIT feeding tube, either collection, happy to post, as long as postage is covered. They have shared the following contact details. Obviously, I've took the contact details out, John. Please take a screenshot. Hello, Kirsten from Skiggle. Is the Freaks tube still available? Happy to cover postage. This has gone into the evidence log, which is going to the team that is dealing with it.
Like I said, she's never popped up on my TikTok before. I've had the Alpha Bar, the CLA, sadly, TikTok side. And when I sat there and watched her live, and just her in general, and I'm sorry if this comes across rude, but it just seemed fake, and I don't understand why the police have just said to log it. Surely what she did to your friend, is that not fraud?
They have said due to complex mental health difficulties, the CPS will not prosecute for the charge extortion via deception. Doesn't mean to say they won't charge on other things, but they can't for extortion via deception.
I don't. Sorry, ladies, just a little bit off topic. I don't actually know how to drop down.
Do you want me to kick you out?
Could somebody? Yeah, if you could, sweetheart. I am gonna stay in the comments, but I've got to pop out. So I wouldn't be fully here. I don't want to be taking up a box unnecessarily.
That's tiny, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, darling. Yeah.
Ready?
Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What does she want from? I know it's mental health, but as a mum myself, I mean, my son is only 2, but as a mum myself, I don't quite understand how does she have a mum? Is her mum on the scene? Like,
I don't really want to talk about her family. Obviously, her dad's in here. Her dad's very vocal. It's nothing like that. I just don't really want to talk about her mum because I don't think it's fair. You don't see her like her dad. So I don't really want to talk about her because I don't think it's fair. But her dad's in the comments. Please feel free to ask him as many questions you want. I did say he's welcome in the box.
I don't quite get it. Like I said, I've only seen her maybe the last three days. The first day was her actual live. The past 2 days has been clips that someone has then put onto their profile. And like I mentioned, she spoke about, I'm on my end of life. And then I think someone was in the comments, and I think what maybe was challenging her about the comment that she said about being on end of life. And then she retracted from that. And then she changed the subject again. Correct me if I'm wrong. She changed the subject to being quite smug about, I'm known by my local air ambulance. They know me by name and I know them by name.
Guys, can we be respectful? No, 1 second. Can we be respectful in the comments? I don't really want to talk about a childhood trauma neither. All we're doing is like literally facts. But yeah, you're right. You've probably seen it on the FYP because obviously we're covering it. I've been doing this now this is a week and a half.
You've been on my For You page quite a lot today, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go in, ask somebody to explain what's going on.
Yeah,
so now I know.
As I say, because my friend Gio was involved, we just thought we would come on and it would be a small thing. But unfortunately, there are so many people that didn't want to, or thought it was them, or felt scared because she has threatened people, and there is documented evidence of that. So we've had text messages, screen messages, everything, which
including threatening kids.
Yeah, including kids threatening children. So we've had screen messages. We have had everything sent to us.
Will the ambulance service not flag her behaviour?
Do you know what? I'm going to let my sister tell you that because she is a retired. Claire, they can't take your pin.
Okay.
She is retired from the ambulance service due to getting COVID 4 times and now being chronically ill. Claire, can you cover that?
I'm in.
Yeah.
I obviously can't speak about her directly because I'm not part of that service or wasn't part of her service. But so every call that comes in to the ambulance service is logged. Even if you hang up, it's logged.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you are calling about somebody that you've seen on Facebook, TikTok, WhatsApp, whatever, we take these calls very seriously because it is a concern for welfare.
Yeah.
If you give us this person's name, we can usually find them, or they can usually find them due to NHS details, etc. If they are a frequent caller, they will have a log that they are a frequent caller.
Right, okay.
Ambulance service receives is acted upon. So like I say, if you drop the call, don't call back, they will call you.
Yeah.
We call back missed calls, we call back drop calls. Everybody is assessed. Okay? I've seen people saying on here, don't phone the ambulance because it'll be taken away from somebody who deserves it or needs it. That never happens, okay? Yes, due to demand, there is a shortage of ambulances, there's a shortage of paramedics. Unfortunately, COVID has taken a lot of us off the road. So the service isn't as it should be at the minute. However, everybody is assessed independently.
And it's your job to assess, not ours, isn't it?
No, it's nothing to do with you guys. If you guys are calling it in for concern for welfare, we make contact with the patient, or if they are a frequent service user, a lot of them have telephone numbers that we call back. So, say for example, her dad, if it's known to contact her dad. So, but the ambulance service will always assess the patient. So, but where possible.
Thank you for explaining, but why is her dad allowing this fantasy, I don't really know what to call it, to go on? I mean, as a mum myself, if, for example, my son, when he's older, decided to prank call, I don't know, the police or the ambulance service, or pretend to be ill or something, I don't know, I wouldn't allow it as a parent or any human being.
I think it's
unfortunately, unless you're in their shoes, it's very difficult. And I hope people, as much as what she's doing is hurting people, there is a situation. She does have some medical conditions, whether they be physical or mental, and they have to be dealt with. I just want to say that obviously I am ex-ambulance.
You're retired medically, so he can't take your pin away from you, can he? Or her?
No, he can't. I'm retired. COVID took away my career. It's not taken away my life. My voice will change as I talk, so I apologise. I'm not turning into Barry White.
That's what I say.
One of the things I need to get out there, I sit here and I sit very quietly, unless my sister gives out details too much about me, and watch what's being said. None of this is for anyone to go onto her live and give her grief or call her out. It's just to make you aware of the facts. Okay? And if things can be debunked, like I say, ambulance service will never prioritise a cardiac arrest under a concern for welfare.
Does anybody know if she lives at home with her parents, or does she live by herself?
She lives by herself. She lives alone.
So how can she do everything if she lives by herself? Does she have actual carers?
Yeah,
she's on live all the time, and she has carers.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I've only literally seen maybe a minute to 5 minutes of her
are
life.
Basically expected to give up their life in order to be on live for her, all around the clock.
Right, okay.
Like day or night, whether they've got children, whether they're ill. Like her moderators are guilted into being there. And there's a moderator whose name I won't mention, who I know has been very unwell and messaging me when I was in hospital, so I just couldn't take over. And she was saying, I just don't feel good, I need to sleep. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I can't, but you need to rest. And this moderator is, I mean, all her moderators tend to be pretty vulnerable, but this moderator is particularly vulnerable.
They do seem quite vulnerable from
she just wouldn't leave her, and it broke my heart.
Yeah, that's something we've spoke about a lot, isn't it, Sophie? That we always felt like if we couldn't go on TikTok without being on the live. Like we felt guilty for not being on the live almost.
But thank you for explaining. I'll drop down now just in case anybody wants to do it. But thank you.
Come in. Okay, do you want to drop down yourself?
Thank you. I'll drop down.
Okay, off you go. Whee!
Oh, I'm on. Sorry, I didn't realise.
Yeah, you are. Do you want to? I don't know if. Let me just hear from, because obviously we've heard from Jeff, we've heard from Sophie, Jess, not Jeff. I don't know why I said Jeff. I'm sorry about that. Black Rose song. What did you have to say, lovely? I said lovely.
Pardon, what?
Black Rose song. What did she have to say?
It was just about the fact that yes, we did used to stay up all night. But I think partly for me, it was because in a way, I didn't want anything to happen. Sometimes I would be like, I would go to sleep, but it was like I couldn't keep away, so I'd be still watching from the outside. And then if anything happened, you'd jump in so you could help. And yes, staying awake all night till like 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, near enough every day, you don't really have a sleep schedule in a sense.
It messes you up, doesn't it? Someone said social services should protect the vulnerable people she's manipulating. Safeguardings have been put in. We have got a safeguarding team working on it.
I was on, I have had access to this afternoon's live, and I've sent you a whole load of clips, Sally, quite interesting little bits and pieces. But one of them was the fact that they were, clearly she had an episode at 3 o'clock this morning, and so there were mods on. I don't know whether, because I don't know much about what the mods, how many she has on at night, but clearly there was a mod on all night long, and she had an episode at 3 o'clock this morning, and that mod calls out for help to the other mods, and then they all pile on, and then but yeah, clearly they are up all night looking after her, and she was having a little episode when she was on. She was being very, very active, sorting her room out this afternoon, reorganizing everything, and then she suddenly then started to have a low blood sugar, and that her alarm, she said, I think my alarm's going to go off soon. And as you said, it can be set at any level to go off. And then she went, as it went, it's gone, it's 3 point something or other. And then she started doing, and she's someone's made a comment that she's having one of, I just read in your comments, she's having an episode at the moment.
Because we're doing this, we've had a couple of big times that's going. Absolutely.
Mia did a live because somebody.
Can I just say, her dad can't be that worried because this is about the third one during this live, and he was in this live a minute ago. Why is he not round there?
I was just thinking that why was he here if
Julie,
she was having an episode? He was in this
live a minute ago. So if he's that worried, why is he watching my live and not round his incredibly vulnerable, poorly young girl, as he calls her?
He went into the live. Apparently he was watching the live. When the episode happened, he was apparently watching he went in the live.
What was happening yesterday when, again, I was watching her live last night, is that she's got mods watching your live. Or was it Emily's live? They were watching Emily's live whilst sitting on Kirsten's live. So she was telling Kirsten what was being said and, things like that. But she's clearly, from what's been said today, they're obviously cutting back on the mods. I'm aware that a lot have been kicked out. I'm aware of several that have been kicked out in the last week, shall we say. And she said, we've got the core ones here. We've got the ones we can trust. Any new mods are only going to be given blocking privileges only, nothing else. They're not going to be part of any mod group chat until they've proved that they can be trusted. So she's definitely, and she also said that she is. She's also said that because someone obviously mentioned the fact that of trolls, because obviously we're all being trolls, that action is being taken. She can't talk about it, but there is things in motion and actions being taken against obviously all of us for our hate speech. She didn't use the term hate speech, but effectively for whatever we're doing. The irony of her being taken off TikTok for a week on two accounts for harassment and bullying, when she's now on instantly, like, okay, fine, I'll just move on to another account to continue. It's just ridiculous. But blocking her is, and I mean, how many? It's like dandelions. You get rid of 1 and 2, and then there's another 10 over there.
But they all do that.
It's
all the creators on here. CLA, she has, I don't know, Delusive Angie has about 52 accounts, don't they? So TikTok don't care as long as you get money.
What Mia's very upset about is that yesterday in the live, what was very noticeable, that Kirsten was talking about the amount of volume she's able to put down her tube, and what happens if she puts, I can only put this many mil down my tube if I put it too fast, or this amount. Basically saying everything that Mia had said in her post the night before in response to someone who is new to NJ's, who had been following Kirsten, been obviously then reading all the information about her, and had messaged Mia and asked for, I'm really confused about what I should and shouldn't be doing. Would you be able to share, give some advice on how to use, basically, I can't remember, but Mia put the post up there and she responded to that, and she explained how you should be doing it, what happens when you do it too fast, how it makes you feel, why you have to do things in certain ways. And lo and behold, last night, Kirsten's saying all the stuff and repeating stuff that Mia said. And I think you said it last night in your live, that people should stop. And I did say this to Mia because I didn't know.
Be careful what you are saying, because even though we are debunking things, do not give her in-depth details. Do not talk about your medical conditions, because all she's doing is like a sponge and then regurgitating it out again.
And I think as Mia was answering a question for someone who genuinely wanted to know because they were concerned that they'd been told one thing and then they're watching Kirsten doing something different. So like, what should I be doing? And so she explains it, and then Kirsten's like, oh, thank you very much. And off she goes and she's flying away with it. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and say that you, as ever, doing an amazing job.
Honestly, though, I just like this, you know, guys, can I just 1 second, Julie? Someone's made me aware that that person has breached the Discord again, or tried to. Can we make sure they're kicked out again, please? They are actually a minor for a start anyway, but thank you. If we can make sure she is, exits are here, here, and here. How they can say they can put
amazing
thank you.
With the moderators around the clock, she does have moderators in America and things, but what often used to happen was if there was someone on their own who was in America, they would try and get hold of someone else to ring her dad, but couldn't. And if they failed to get hold of someone, Kirsten would say that they threatened her life, and that she could have died because of them, and then would kick them out as a moderator. And I know people that had given her a lot of money and were then just completely booted out, blocked, absolutely attacked by Kirsten because they legitimately couldn't get hold of her dad because they're not in the country. Like, they would try WhatsApp, but apparently his WhatsApp doesn't work in the bedroom or something.
See, that's my point. Why not do a group call? Why not do, if you need those people around you? And I'm not for 1 minute saying that, you know, she shouldn't have her friends around her if they want to care for her and all of that stuff. I totally get it. But why TikTok? Why not a private group?
She said she was too shy to talk to people on FaceTime.
What?
She said she was too anxious.
Sorry to butt in. Happy to go on TikTok with thousands of people.
Happy to go on TikTok, but not happy to do a FaceTime.
We did do, so recently she has done a few group chats before her backup became live access, she would do video calls with us mods in the group chat. So she was happy to do that. But obviously there are two mod chats, one where she is in, and one where the mods, we would talk about lives and what people were posting. We were specifically told not to tell Kirsten to protect her mental health. So obviously if Sally was live or Emily would live, it would get put in there.
Yeah, people she does seem to know, because she, from what I've heard from various people, goes after them. Threatens their jobs.
We won't tell her, but we won't tell her, but we will. We won't have directly told her. She'll have found out through somebody else.
So when people are having their jobs threatened and are having their Facebook accounts found out and stuff like that, is that the mods in the separate mod group doing that? So is it Kirsten who's doing that, or the mods that are doing that? Is at Kirsten's behest?
That will be Kirsten.
So what I'm saying is, how does she constantly keep finding out? If you're saying that no one tells her about the people who are leaving the comments, how does she know who to go after?
It would sometimes be that if the situation was as bad as it could be, that she would be told certain information, but then somebody, I wasn't sure who, I don't know about Beth, but so she would find out somehow anyway. Even if we hadn't said anything, she'd find out who it is or who's live or everything.
She'd find out, but we would, as mods, we would be very careful as to what we were to tell her. We would word it certain ways in the other chat before we went to her.
But she seems to be perfectly...
I think her dad tells
about her mental health in telling her that someone said something unpleasant. or that might upset her. But she doesn't seem to be the fragile person to me that the mods are worried about. If she's perfectly capable and happy and has got the fight in her to track people down, to hunt people down, I say hunt them down, track them down on the internet and find out where they work and threaten their jobs, find their Facebook account, make threats and do all that. So that to me isn't someone who's a fragile, vulnerable with their mental health. If they're able to have the strength.
She's real fragile in the mod chat, and she's real fragile if you're talking to her. But when you, the reason I left was I saw messages she'd sent to other people, and I was like, "That's not the person I know."
Absolutely, and this is what I've discovered from lots of mods who've been in touch with me, is that they discover Kirsten saying things about people. There's a lot of stuff going on. So you've got your two groups. The main group and then your mod group, then I think there are other mod groups where Kirsten is involved with, and from what my understanding is, and I could be wrong, where mods, it's like everyone's talking about everybody else. It's like a school playground, and everybody's, it's literally, no, you can't trust anybody. No mod can trust another mod. No one knows who's going to backstab who next.
I know at one point there was a mod group that the mods that I had been moderators with were in, and then she had like a new intake of really young mods, and she made a new group just with these new mods, and none of the older mods knew about this new group, and I know people that left because of that situation when they found out. And Kirsten said they'd left because they were attacking her, and this person, I won't mention her name because she's a nurse, but she was like, I was just hurt. I wasn't angry, I was hurt. And it was only after she's left being a mod that she's come across all these videos about Kirsten. Because Kirsten, I don't know about other mods, but Kirsten always told me not to look.
Yeah, she told us to block them all. We were told to block all of them, block everybody, because it's better for our mental health not to see it.
Well, that's what I don't understand, because, and I haven't been a mod, sorry, my cat is demanding to be let out of my room, is that why would, what is it that is stopping you? You're obviously genuinely believing everything that's told, and you're not questioning anything. And if someone was telling me, oh, these things are being said about me, but block them all, don't look at it, I'd be thinking, no smoke without fire. I'd be wanting to have a look. I'd want to know, because this is the internet. This is the age of catfishing. You don't know that the person you're speaking to on the internet is who they say they are. I could be anyone. I could be a bank robber. I could be anything. And I could tell you I was a lovely human being, but there might be loads of evidence about me online. And if I'm telling you and you're just believing it, this is what I don't understand. Why did you...
For me, the killer was misinformation. So 2 people sent me messages while I was a mod that I ignored. Well, I didn't ignore them. I looked at them, I watched them, but she said, so for example, one of them said, look at her list of medications. There's no seizure medications in there. And I was like, firstly, this is a list that Kirsten's made, so it doesn't really matter. But also there were medications that I know can be used for seizures. And so I was like, this person's just wrong. Like, they've got it wrong.
Can I interrupt you for 2 seconds? I'm so sorry. I need to come for a break because I've been on in nearly 3 hours and drank a lot of fluids. Gio, are you there? Can you take over? You don't have to speak, but can you take over the live? Because if not, there's going to be an accident and there's no bucket near me. Gio!
Don't borrow my catheters.
I had a slight issue with a live I was on last night, which I was conducting, and someone had a medical episode, and I was trapped. We were all trapped there because if we left the live, she would have not had anyone to be monitoring her until she came out of the situation. So
I'll tell you what, she's not answering me. So what I'm going to do, because while I'm going to do that, I have a naughty habit as well. So I'm going to do that. I'll jump in on my... Oh, okay. Right, she said go. I'll take this with me so I can watch. But I gotta go.
But you'll turn the sound off, so we don't need to hear.
Yeah. No, I'm going to leave this up here. There's no babe station today, okay? Because I'm not fasting. All right? All right? See you in a minute. That's what I do in the evening. It's granny station. Right, see you in a minute.
But yeah, I was just saying, like, because the two people that messaged me sent me misinformation that I knew was false, I just thought these people are just spreading nonsense. And that's what frustrates me about some of the comment sections on the exposing videos, because people get stuff wrong, and it's so important to not speak unless you are so confident, because the videos speak for themselves.
Yeah, if you say things that are wrong, it feeds into Kirsten's argument. It backs up her argument that people are spreading misinformation about her, because and it also feeds into the very real, because let's not forget, she genuinely is unwell, and we need to, whatever we think, have compassion for that. And she genuinely believes these things, and when she genuinely does believe that everyone is attacking her. So although she might be ignoring the truth that is being shared, she is very, very aware and sensitive to the attacks that is or the misinformation that appear to be attacks on her. She doesn't have, but what I find hard is that when you try and say to her, no one's attacking you, whatever, she won't engage. Like last night, she joined my live to tell me that we were going to get into trouble. I was going to get into trouble. We were going to get into trouble for what we were doing. And what we were doing was just chatting. And I was just saying, if anyone has anything they needed to share, again, trying to get, evidence. But I said, we want no hate against Kirsten. Any comments would not be accepted. And she joined, and I said to her, listen, if you want to talk, we will remove all the comments. You can come in. No one will shout at you. No one will say anything to you. Just you and me. You just tell me what it is you want to say so that you can be heard. And she blocked me again because I had been blocked. So she'd unblocked me, joined to say something, and then blocked me again. So it's really hard because she is unwell. But the whole reason we're doing what we're doing, and as Sally said, is to raise awareness for those people who don't know who she is and don't know about her, who come on the internet and think that what she's doing, okay, I've just got an NJ tube, that this person's really helpful, they're really supportive, and get sucked in and then discover that actually I've been doing things wrong and I shouldn't, that it was, you know what I mean? And yet Mia, when she explains it, then has fed into Kirsten's knowledge. So Kirsten's now got more knowledge and sounds far more believable now when talking about her tubes, because she's just had a very good education on how it works. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, like, she used to put subcut lines in her chest. That was, and say they were Hickmans, I think. And that was because she'd had a conversation with me. Well, I think it was because, I don't know, but she'd had a conversation with me the night prior, and I'd said, my district nurses have said that because my stomach's a mess, my arms are a mess, my legs are a mess, that I can put my subcut line in my chest and it'll work as not ideal, but it'll work. And then the next day she had that weird Hickman thing.
I remember it was like here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember.
And I was just like, that was like about 2 days before I left. But yeah, she's
she had it in the end of her finger. Do you remember when she had, that's just a new one on me. I don't even know.
Yeah. Kate, I'm a chunky girl, so I do have some fat in my chest, just not a lot. So yeah, that's why I could do it.
We were in hospital this morning with Mia having, we have to go to the medical day once a week to have bloods and then fluids and any potassium or anything. And whilst we were there, we raised this whole situation with the nurse. And she was absolutely fascinated. And we ran a whole load of scenarios that have been presented on, by Kirsten. And she was just, no, that would never happen. No, that's not correct. That would never. And it was amazing to have a nurse there just debunking things left, right, and centre that we ourselves have no experience of beyond the tubes. It was fascinating. It's really fascinating. So I said to me, we need to keep a list of things that she says, and then next week when we go in, we can run those past the nurse again.
Yeah.
Because it really
I mean, when I was a moderator, she was at home on multiple IV medications, self-administered, that you wouldn't... I can't even imagine you having them if you are actually end of life. You'd have them administered by a district nurse. Yeah.
How is she doing these herself? That's what I don't understand. How is she...
Because she's a special princess in the hospital. No, sorry, that's mean. I'm not going to be mean. But the hospital apparently treat her situation so seriously that they will give her almost anything. Is the situation she shared.
And so she gets training that no other patient would get in how to take care of themselves.
Yeah, and she gets her NJ tubes changed in 3 hours, including hospital transport.
We spoke to the nurse today. She said absolutely no way that would happen, that you would have an endoscopy NJ replacement on a Sunday. I mean, I know I've had people come on and say, yes, that happens in their areas, and they are so lucky that it does, because it doesn't happen in our area. And it might be a way of those hospitals getting the waiting list down, and maybe our hospital should start doing it. But not every hospital does that. And, if it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. But it just does seem... She does make things hard for people with genuine conditions, and I think that's the misinformation and the... But I mean,
I definitely think she's done damage to the chronic illness community. I know a lot of people that won't go live anymore because you get people talking about this situation and saying, oh, this is like this. And you're like, no, it's not. I'm just living my life how I always have. But she just...
It's fear that the mods have that I find heartbreaking. Someone said, oh, they might come after you. Well, so be it. Not a good person to pick on, really. And the trouble is, I don't have a chronic illness, so I'm not a good person to pick on, because I've got plenty of energy, and I was the hospital's worst nightmare when it came to Mia, in terms of I didn't take no for an answer and did everything I fought everyone and everything that I needed to do for her to get help. So if anyone wants to come after me, that's what they'll be dealing with. So not really a good idea.
I've seen... so many of her mods are... Someone commented saying, mods are grown adults, you're not getting paid for this, look after you. But they're not all grown adults.
They're being groomed. A lot of them are being groomed.
There's people with learning disabilities. There's people that are disabled very severely and are just looking for connection. And it's so easy to be manipulated. And like I say, most of them are children. Well, I mean, not most of them. A lot of them are children. An unacceptable amount are under 18 and shouldn't be responsible for someone's life, essentially, is what the situation they're being sold. And they shouldn't have that pressure.
Well, I mean, the fact that these people last night, and clearly it's a regular thing, are up all night. One person, I don't know whether there's a rota, a different person last night. I don't know how it works, but
she usually ask who is available to be up all night, who is free to be up when she's going live. She'll always ask.
Mummy, why don't you